Alright, so yesterday what arrived to me was my new toy. It is the Garmin VIRB 360 VR camera. I'm going to tell you how crappy I think it is. Alright, so yesterday what arrived to me was my new toy. It is the Garmin VIRB 360 VR camera. And, well, I had really high hopes, especially since I spent $800 on it. But instead, well, after trying everything out, I'm gonna go and watch the vet. I'm gonna tell you how crappy I think it is. Okay, so the VIRB 360 was supposed to be a really great camera. It is brand new. It's $800. I've seen nothing but good stuff about it. I've seen some really great footage that has come out of it. And I haven't seen anybody say anything bad about it. So I decided, you know what, this is the one I want to get. I get it. And I tried some things out on it. Found out it has a lot of limitations. There's a lot of things I don't like about it. One, big one, is the software that comes with it. It's supposed to be compatible on as little as Windows 7. However, this software that they bring into it, it crashes every time it tries to import my videos. Every time it tries to optimize my files, all my clips, what it ends up doing is crashing. And I mean literally every time. I put together a little video and I tried to export it. Well, every time it gets about 18–20%, it crashes. It crashes literally every time. Importing videos when it's trying to optimize them, boom, it crashes. And I tried to export, it crashes. So bottom line is, the software is absolutely useless to me. And there is a phone app. The nice thing about the Garmin is it does stitching inside the camera. And you know, you could take a 360 video and through your phone, you could take that 360 video and send it right up to YouTube or Facebook. And with the, you know, this is the unfortunate thing. This is one of the reasons I got it. For one thing, this phone is capable of streaming 4K 360 video, live streaming. But you have to have an iPhone for that. You have to have an iPhone. And, you know, that's just not another expense that I need. I'm an Android guy. I'm just that kind of person that doesn't believe that if you spend more money, you have something better. Which, in my opinion, is the case with Apple products. So, in my opinion, this company caters towards Mac, Apple, iPhone users, and disregards Windows and Android people. Which, hey, I'm sorry, but if that's true, they're losing a big market. So, along with that, some of the things that don't make sense that, well, if you're recording 360, you're recording in 4K. You can also record in 5.7K RAW, but if you do that, the problem is you can't use their software to edit that. You have to get a third party. You have to get third-party software in order to be able to edit that stuff. And so that's another additional expense, and you have to know what you're doing to be able to do it. So it's using their software. Well, let me back up a minute. Using their software, it records at 4K 30 frames a second. You cannot change the frame rate of what you want. You can't change it to 24 frames a second. You can't change it to 60. I can't tell it, hey, I'd rather drop this down to 180 and 1080. I'd rather drop this down to 1080 and do 60 frames, or do 48 frames, or if I want to do some slow motion stuff. Well, you can't do that in 360. Now when you go to export your 360 video, it gives you the option. You can export at 1080, and then hey, it'll also let you do 60 frames. But wait a minute, didn't you just record in 30 frames a second? So how is that even going to be working for me? It's absolutely pointless. You can even take it down to 1080. You can do even, I think, 120 frames a second exporting. But what's the point of exporting a video at 120 frames a second when it was recorded in 30? Okay, there's a lot of things messed up. Another thing I don't like about the Garmin, the VIRB 360, is the fact that it doesn't have a spot meter when it comes to auto white balance. A spot meter is something you will find on most upper end, middle, upper end cameras. You even got it on GoPros, and even knockoff brands have spot meters. The spot meter, when you turn on the spot meter, what it will do, it will adjust the white balance based upon what is in the center of the frame. And with it off, where a spot meter comes in good for me personally is, for example, if I have my camera in my car. Now, there's a lot of, it's not very bright inside my car, and with the spot meter off, it adjusts the white balance for everything that's in the frame. And then when that happens, it's a bright, beautiful, sunny day, nice clouds, beautiful blue sky, and what's outside my window is just completely blown out and overexposed. So you turn on your spot meter, and with that spot meter, when I have my camera facing out my window, it will adjust my white balance for whatever's in the center of my frame. So I'm looking out my windshield, I got a nice beautiful blue sky, it adjusts for that beautiful blue sky out there. Yeah, it gets a little bit darker in my car, but not that much. It's much better to have it that way than to have everything out my windshield completely blown out just so the inside of my car looks good. That's not good. So there's no spot meter on the Garmin, and that really sucks. So yeah, there's a lot of limitations with that, with this camera, and quite honestly, it is certainly not worth 800 bucks. It is by far not worth 800 bucks. I wouldn't even spend $400 for this camera. I really wouldn't. I would have to say that their G-metrics that they have in a couple of their other sports cameras, it's the gimmick that allows them to fetch a higher price. That's what I believe. You take out the G-metrics, and in my opinion, you have a real piece of crap camera. A real piece of crap. I'd be reluctant to even spend $200. I might spend $100 for this camera, but that'd be it. And quite honestly, there's got to be something better coming down the road. So more than anything, I have definitely learned a lesson with this purchase. I think I was actually looking at the specs on the phone, and I was filling in blanks that I expected to be on the phone that weren't there, such as an adjustable frame rate, having a spot meter. I just assumed that an $800 camera would have a spot meter, for God's sake. I am definitely probably gonna but for 800 bucks, what I got out of this, like I said, is it worth 800 bucks? Absolutely not. Not even worth $7. I wouldn't even pay $400 for this camera. What it does, its limitations. What it does is pretty cool. The G-metrics, I think, are, in my opinion, just an absolute gimmick that allows them to fetch a higher price. Now, I have to admit, the G-metrics are pretty cool. I would like to be able to display a speedometer and such right in front of you know, right in front of somebody's face on my dash. And that is pretty cool. There's lots of different things that you can do with those G-metrics. But the my biggest thing was I really wanted a camera, a 360 camera. I originally was looking at the Views 360, which is also a 3D 360 camera, and for around the same price. And after seeing a lot of the video, their software, their stitching, I was just not impressed. It's not there yet for 3D. Not at under $1,000 yet. It's not there. I was looking at Kodak. They have a new dual lens camera that is going to be coming out. It's supposed to be out already. It's supposed to be out last month, I believe. Yeah, actually they released it in Japan. I think they released it in Japan. So now the Japanese are making a killing by buying them there and reselling them to Americans. So I'm waiting for that to come here. That was the one they originally wanted. I can only hope, well, now that I know better what the Garmin lacks, I'm going to re-look at the specs on the Kodak to see if, hey, does this have what I want? I need to just look closer at the details. That's the bottom line. The Garmin, in my opinion, it's not even worth 400 bucks. I'd be reluctant to maybe pay 200 bucks for that camera, honestly, for its limitations and the issues that it has. Going out and looking for tutorials and such, they don't have much of anything for support on the 360 camera. The only thing that I have seen is what other people, individuals, have done, such as I, and there really isn't a whole lot of reviews. There's a lot of footage from the Garmin out there, and there's some beautiful footage. People have done some wonderful things, but as far as an actual review, yeah, well, you got mine.